Hello and welcome to Dateline Lagos on Channels Television. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. On the program, Lagos holds crucial security meeting and more state ministries present scorecard of Governor Sanwo-Olu's administration. The Lagos State government held a security meeting where residents who attended asked the authorities to take a decisive action on some security issues to help them deal with what they describe as a disturbing trend. Let's take a listen.
If you live in Lagos, the commercial nerve capital of the country, seeing this footage of top security personnel converging at the premises of the state government should leave you with some expectations of perhaps a resolution that will be soothing as regards recent security challenges. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu arrives at Adeyemi Beru Hall, Alausa, to be part of the stakeholders' meeting on Lagos security. The meeting, which has representation from all relevant stakeholders, touched on notable security concerns that has rocked the state, from cultist clashes to kidnapping, violent attacks of security personnel, the activities of commercial motorcyclists who have daily flaunted state restoration laws, to the rising incidences of traffic robbery. The State Commissioner of Police sees it all and bears his mind on the security situation in the state.
From 1st January 2021 till date, the command has been able to bring down to the barest minimum all incidences of serious crimes like cultism, armed robbery, kidnapping, civil unrest, violent protests, and targeted attacks on government facilities by aggrieved groups have assumed a downward trend. While intermittent cases of such crimes recorded were diligently investigated, with the suspect arrested and prosecuted accordingly. Also, incidents of robbery in traffic being perpetrated by miscreants is being given maximum attention. However, while the command has continued to keep the onslaught on the criminals by taking the battle to their den on one hand, the criminals too on their part are now evolving different methods to perpetrate their acts, which all must be on take to neutralize. Our intelligence reports reveal that most criminals, miscreants now, use abandoned buildings as hideouts. Unfortunately, the government's good intention of providing additional means of land transportation and creating jobs for the teeming unemployed youths has been negated by the atrocities being perpetrated by Okada operators in the state. This includes the use of Okada as veritable tools to commit crime and get away with it by hoodlums. With respect to traffic rules and regulations, the Okada operators becoming nuisance and reckless on our roads, resulting into avoidable accidents with attendant consequences on human life.
Until we are like some states.
A panel session highlighted the state's security challenges and demands a special status for Lagos as an ethnic melting point.
The Okada riders, we are wasting too much of your time on it. Once we have decided to ban them, they must be banned. They must be banned. The time is now. Well, I had the opportunity to speak to Mr. Governor and telling me to send them out of the business, they must make alternative for the citizens. They are making provisions to make available small vehicles for us to have around the corridors in the Lagos State. But we can't continue to wait for that. The unions will come to me and say, they have registered this, they have registered that. A lot of influx from the other towns and other adjacent towns in Lagos State, they were coming to Lagos, and we cannot continue to harbor them. Please, Mr. Governor, this is the time to ban Okada finally.
In the wisdom of the Inspector General of Police, the President of Nigeria, community policing was set up. And Mr. Governor inaugurated that a year ago. But I say to you, that committee has not met in Lagos State for once. And that should be corrected. Concerning Okada, not only Okada, even Marwa, these two groups are notorious, they are lawless, and you cannot cope with their stubbornness. Imagine what happened 2 weeks ago in Lasu and Alabarago. Because of 200 naira, 500 naira, they kill some people and destroy people's vehicles, stoning the gates of Lagos State University. That cannot continue in a civilized society. We are not in a jungle. So I join the royal fathers in the land. Okada must be banned in Lagos State. It can never be part of the mega city. Travel abroad and we don't see those ones. So we must have the moral courage to say no to Okada usage in Lagos State from now, not even tomorrow.
We can't have a school system that all we are running after is a certificate, that will come out, there is no employment. And we want people not to be security issue in this country. We are breeding out graduates that have certificates without any training. I appeal to government, there must be upscaling and rescaling of Nigerian graduates. It's not all of us that want to work in office, but there is no infrastructure, there is no loans that are being given, the conditions attached to it make it difficult for us. A lot of people want to go into their businesses, but there is no way they can go into these businesses. That is the reason a lot of Nigerians are riding Okada. Sir, as at present, gradually, tailors, builders, hairdressers, fashion designers, we are gradually losing these people. Even in our agricultural setup, sir, we are waiting for foreigners, people from Benin Republic, people from Togo, to come and work in our farms. Until we take owner of our economy, we keep on having problems like this.
There's a need for us to put a crowd controlling mechanism in place in Lagos State. There's a way that we can upgrade our Lastra in a way that when you're coming to Lagos State, someone is knowing that you are in Lagos State. There's a need for our legislators at the Hallowed Chamber, at the Green Chamber and the Red Chamber to find a way to ensure that Lagos State is granted a special status as a matter of urgency. And the reason why this is very important is this. Lagos State is like a melting point. As the 5th largest economy in Africa, Lagos State deserves this special status. Lagos State has a lot of responsibilities. Lagos State has a lot of things to take care of. So please, our legislators at the Hallowed Chamber should ensure that the special status for Lagos State is granted and is done as a matter of urgency.
Babajide Olusola Sanwo-Olu for his keynote address.
Having listened to contributions made, the governor has something up his sleeves. It's a combination of policy direction and pronouncement that is aimed at improving security and keeping Lagos as safe as possible.
To advance our interests and objectives as a state in the context of security, it is therefore important for us to ensure that we contain and arrest every form of aggression and crime that threatens the development, the progress, the growth of our state, or the stability of our country. For us in Lagos State, there is a direct correlation between security and long-lasting economic growth and development. We cannot speak of a 21st century megacity and a vision for a greater Lagos if we're unable to assure and guarantee the security and safety of our citizens and their properties. Not too long ago, we witnessed the very unforeseen and unexpected mayhem that unleashed after the aftermath of the EndSARS protests here in Lagos. As we all know, no society can make progress amid such highly display of lawlessness and criminality. And so, ladies and gentlemen, let me reiterate that our commitment as a government to the maintenance of law and order in our society is sacrosanct. Our mission of attaining a greater Lagos can only be achieved when we all resolve to live in an orderly manner. And so consequently, and based on all that we have seen and experienced in the past couple of weeks, and as well as the increasing threat that is posed by the activities of commercial motorcycles operators to the safety and to the security of life. We will, in the coming days, further change our parameters, our strategy to ensure that we can indeed fully implement the law banning them in our city and in our state. In the next couple of days, all of those parameters will be spelled out to ensure that the laws that we have set up and all the parameters coming up to ensure that the full enforcement of that law is in place, the parameters will be coming out within the next couple of days. I also want to use this opportunity to condemn the issues of the union, both the NURTW and the return, who have continued to also give us some sleepless nights. Their leadership are here. We have met with them a lot of times, and people also have complained, about their modus operandi. And I think it's also an opportunity for them to change their ways and to ask themselves, how do you want us to relate with you going forward? And the choice is yours, because if you fail or if you undermine the security architecture of the state, we will have no choice. We will have no choice but to weigh the big stick, and the consequences of it can better be imagined.
Meanwhile, as part of the plans to keep everyone safe in the days to come, each resident may have to carry a state residence card for proper accounting and planning.
More Lagos State ministries continue to give account of their performance in the last 2 years of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration in the areas of energy, housing, women, and poverty alleviation.
Housing project is one major area Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu is focusing on to reduce the housing deficit gap in Lagos. He kicked off the year 2021 with the commissioning of 252 two-bedroom bungalows in Badagry, 132 units Lagos Homes project at Ikmori, 84 housing units in Lekki Phase 2, and a 360 units of Lagos Homes Igbogbo 2B housing estate in the Ikorodu area of the state. An initiative aimed at making accommodation affordable in Lagos, and the State Mortgage Board re-emphasizes government's commitment in making tenants landlords through a transparent process of the rent-to-own program.
Yes, basically it's a straightforward process. It's not something we're doing for the first time. The governor had commissioned the Latif Jakonde scheme in Igodo. We have allocated those ones. We're now here. He has commissioned some in Lekki, the one in Ikmori, and we still have some other ones to go. Shongotedo, Odonosa. It's a simple process. You go online, download the application form, and once that application form has been downloaded, fill it in, and once it's filled in, submit it to the Lagos State Mortgage Board. It's a straightforward process, after which we do a pre-qualification process and see whether your debt-to-income ratio really meets the repayment requirements before we now start allocating. We have various prices. If you can't go for the one-bedroom, three-bedroom, you can go for the one-bedroom. If you can't go for the one-bedroom, wait for other locations that are much cheaper.
The ministry is saddled with the responsibility of ensuring that all the housing projects are delivered. Also gives account of what has been achieved in the last 2 years, with a confirmation that 14 schemes have already been completed and occupied by residents.
In tackling the critical challenge of housing deficit in Lagos State, we have been honestly addressing the goal of driving mass housing project development in the state. This is because the housing deficit is in hundreds of thousands. Hence, our target is to produce homes in that magnitude so that we can make speedy difference in the lives of our people. During the period under review, the following housing projects were completed. The completion of and commissioning of and handing over of keys to 492 allottees of Alhaji Latif Jakonde in Igodo, Alimosho local government area by the Ministry of Housing. Completion and commissioning of 252-bed bungalows at Lagos Affordable Public Housing Scheme in Idale Badagry. Completion of furnished apartment unit of 2-bed flat in Olotuda Ilupeju by LSDPC. completion and commissioning of 360 homes at Prince Abiodun Ogunleye Estate, Igbogbo, by the Ministry of Housing. Completion and commissioning of 120 home units at Scotland at Igboku, Etiosa by LSDPC. Bayview Estate, Ikate, Elegushi with 100 units. Completion and commissioning of 124 homes at Lagos Home Lekki Phase 2 through joint venture by Ministry of Housing. Completion and commissioning of 124 homes at Lekki Phase 1. Completion of Sunnyville apartment located at Nombo Oluwa Ogba by LSD 32 units. Completion and commissioning of 132 homes at Babatunde Raji Fashola Estate, Ikmori, through joint ventures by Ministry of Housing.
As more housing projects spring up, government is also addressing the issue of illegal property developers through the State Real Estate Regulatory Authority.
We have an agency in the Ministry of Housing called the Lagos State Real Estate Regulatory Authority. So some of the things we do is the ensuring and the increase of registration of practitioners to create a database for real estate activities in Lagos. With that bill, we as a government are able to monitor transactions. We're able to create a database for Lagosians to pick and choose from on our website. We're able to regulate the industry and curb fraudulent activities. The agency has successfully mediated on about 55 out of 150 petitions and complaints between property developers, landlords, potential tenants, and we had a case in Ajah, about 140 people were also defrauded by a particular developer where it's ongoing. We had cases in Ikorodu, we had in Bagada, we had in Yaba, and we have also recovered funds on behalf of the people of Lagos. We have entered into various advocacies for registration of real estate developers and practitioners and their awareness to curb fake and dubious real estate transactions and property developers in the state. We have told the developers this is going to be a new Lagos. We want a Lagos that is free of fraud. We want a Lagos that is free and clean to the international investors. We want a Lagos that will conform with global best practices. We want a Lagos where people can engage and enter transactions and not be confused.
From housing to energy, and lighting up the entire state is also top on the list of the Lagos State agenda. The ministry is working towards an electricity policy that will serve as a blueprint for the attainment of a universal access to electricity in the state.
Since we came into office, the Lagos State Electricity Board has delivered 3 core programs. One is a rejuvenation of public lighting across Lagos. The second one is the Lagos Solar Program. And the third one is the Lagos Energy Audit Master Plan. On the public lighting, what we've started to do is to replace and repair all of the street lightings that are currently defective. And we've started across Lagos. We've signed 2 contracts that's going to ensure that not only are the lights and the lines repaired, but the lights are also going to be replaced. We currently have 1,200 kilometers of street lights. At the time we came into office, about 55% of them were working. We're in the process of ensuring that we move from 55% to 100% by the end of July. In addition to ensuring that they work, we're going to be replacing the high-pressure sulfur street lights that we currently have installed to low-energy street lights that we're currently in the process of replacing them with. In terms of being able to ensure that we're able to light up Lagos, we started with an integrated resource plan. What that will help us do is intervene in the distribution companies, the transmission companies, and in generation, and let them know what we need in Lagos and what the interventions that we need are. It's going to serve as a blueprint and provide clear direction on the government's vision for achieving universal access to electricity in our state. Mr. Governor has approved the procurement and installation of 20,000 prepaid energy meters targeted at low-income communities in Lagos. We expect to do that this year. We will deploy 20,000 meters. Now I'll explain why. A lot of times, the reason why the distribution companies don't supply energy to a particular area is because they're unable to recover their money for the electricity they've delivered.
The women and youth in Lagos are also not forgotten, as the Ministry of Women Affairs and Poverty Alleviation says over 6,000 residents have been empowered with vocational skills that gives them the opportunity to excel in life.
In the last 2 years, the ministry, through the Women Affairs Department, organized a series of programs and activities aimed at improving the status of women in Lagos State and making them economically independent. One of such programs is the short-term skills acquisition training and empowerment program. The short-term vocational skills acquisition program were organized to tackle unemployment situation of women and young female adults, the widows, the indigent and the vulnerable women, women living with health challenges and disabilities, civil servants exiting from active service, women drawn from faith-based organizations, and other categories of women in Lagos State. In courses such as hair braiding and wig making, tie and dye, event decoration, cakes and snacks production, soap and pomade making, stove wick and insecticide production, Ankara crafts, stoning and embellishments, makeup and gele tying, throw pillow production. The short-term skills acquisition training was done annually. But when Mr. Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu came on board as the governor, he graciously approved that the program be done bi-monthly. So, up till now, we have empowered and trained 6,780 women in Lagos State. We did not just train, we also gave them startup packs to be able to start their own businesses immediately. And after that program, we have done our monitoring and evaluation. We have visited some of the recipients who have benefited and who have started their own businesses. As a matter of fact, some of them started their businesses even while the trainings were on.
Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu's administration is asking residents to join hands with the government to deliver more projects and actualize the master plan for the state.
And that's the program for this week. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Ayotunde Balogun. Until we come your way again next time, please stay safe.